Hey everyone, I wanted to read another math story. Third grade is learning about measuring right now, and we're measuring weights. And we learned about the many different ways that you can measure weight on a scale. So this story is perfect. It's called On the Scale, A Weighty Tale by Brian P. Cleary. It starts off with a definition of weight. Weight is the heaviness of an object. Down at the bottom, it clarifies that there are two ways to measure weight. We can use the English system with ounces, pounds, or tons, or we can use the metric system, which uses grams, kilograms, and metric tons. Let's learn more about that. A heavy backpack filled with books, a teeny paper kite, a friend named Kate who just turned 8. These all weigh something, right? I wonder, which is heavier, the backpack or Kate? Weighing things is how we find the heaviest of stuff. A soccer ball, great-grandmother's shawl, and bags of pillow fluff. I think that elephant is definitely heavy. An ounce is just the thing to use for very light amounts. That slice of bread you've just been fed, it weighs about 1 ounce. So the first thing I notice is I can measure in ounces, and an ounce is very light, like a piece of bread. 16 ounces make 1 pound, so picture 16 slices. They'd weigh around 1 single pound, no matter what the price is. So now I noticed 16 ounces equals 1 pound. I know when I weigh myself, it always tells me that I am measured in pounds. So 1 pound would be equivalent to 16 ounces. The very heaviest of things we talk about in tons, like trucks and trains and ducks and cranes, or freighters filled with buns. The heaviest is tons. A ton is huge. It takes 2,000 pounds to make just one. Cars and whales upon the scales are measured by the ton. I wonder if the elephant would be measured in tons. A scale is the tool we use to weigh things small and large. Scales can measure a trunk filled with treasure, a crate or some bait, or a barge. I wonder, do you have a scale at home? See, does it measure in English or metric units? Pounds or ounces? Having more than just one way to measure is best. So memorize each metric size and you'll pass any test. I wonder, do you remember from the pages before? How many pounds are in 1 ton? They told us on the last couple of pages. A gram is not a cracker, and it's not your parents' mother's. It's a weight, so get this straight, it's smaller than most others. So now I notice a metric unit, grams. Grams are also small and light like ounces. A weight might look that small. A dollar bill or paper clip weigh near 1 gram, you know. Inside 1 ounce, you can announce there's 28 or so. So I noticed a difference. If I'm using the English system, I would measure in ounces. If I'm using the metric system, I would measure in grams. But 1 ounce equals 28.35 grams, so they're different. Labeling how you're measuring is important. Take 1,000 of these grams and kilograms the name. A quart of milk, 2 pounds of silk, each weigh about the same. I remember. Which of these measurements is using metric units? Are quarts metric or English? What about pounds? What about kilograms? Do you remember which units are metric? One 1,000 kilograms are what make up 1 metric ton. About as heavy as a Chevy, at least a smaller one. So kilograms are heavy. You've picked up lots of heavy words, and now you know enough to teach a class because, alas, you've learned a ton of stuff. I see a scale. This scale looks different than what you might see at your house. And I'll leave you with this last page. It's kind of cool. It tells you some different weight facts about different animals, objects, and they use both metric and English units. I thought it was interesting that a giraffe is 1 metric ton. Thanks for listening.